Hello, Sci-Tech Swiss is in Davos. Karina?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 54th edition of the World Economic Forum in Davos, where I will be speaking at the Phygital Wednesday panel on rebuilding trust on technology. So please stay tuned for more technological advancements.
Thank you. Bye. Welcome to Sci-Tech Swiss, the fastest growing world-class podcast of all times. We're kicking off the new year with a sponsorship drive during the WIFE Week in Davos with an exciting ad campaign with Ringier. Karina, over to you and tell our audience how they can hitch their wagon to our star.
Become a sponsor for the next episode or we produce one for you in our professional studio. Find us on premierswissmedia.com. So, hi everyone, I'm Karina and I'm here with some of the speakers at the Phygital Wednesday and they are just sharing their insights on technology. So, say hi to them.
Well, hello, Karina, and thank you, Sci-Tech Swiss, for all the conversations you've had with us. We're very excited to welcome you on our stage on Wednesday as one of our speakers from the media. And it's very exciting to be here this year with colleagues, friends, family. We're all on the same mission. So I'm here with Andrea Abrams and Noel Reno, who are part of our speaker lineup on Wednesday.
Delighted to be here.
So what does actually Davos mean to you? Why is it so important?
Davos is a very special place because you get a lot of people from different industries, and we created Phygicode to really create that bridge between academia and industry.
I'm delighted to be here. It's my second time in Davos, and Andrea and I met last year. And I think that we share this mutual connection around education and adoption in this space. And a key part of that, with my background being in retail, my background being in media, is making sure that the current leaders, the enterprise executives understand what Phygital is, why it matters, and how it's changing the world now, not just tomorrow. So Phygicode Connect is aligned with that mission of how do we curate and create intelligent conversations to help more people who are innovators, who are business leaders, move into this space because it makes good business sense and it's also the right thing to do. And I think what's wonderful about being here at Davos is we get to align with some of the pillars around conversation, sustainability, responsibility, more economic inclusion.
Ethan, what are you expecting to see this year in Davos?
Well, I think in Davos, one of the big topics this year, like the major theme this year, involves the disruptive technologies. I call them disruptive. A lot of people don't. They call them constructive. I call them disruptive because I think they're going to be changing, disrupting, not necessarily in a bad way, but in a good way, many of the things that we previously thought. Things in the medical field, for example, the ability to develop medicines in months instead of decades. In the finance world, the ability to bring capital to the masses that don't have access to capital because they don't have banks in places like Africa and India and Latin America. And in other areas where AI, quantum computing is going to be used to do things better and to do things faster. In ways that I think we don't appreciate yet. I think the change is going to be exponential. It's going to be extraordinarily rapid. And a lot of these technologies, which have been compared to the invention of the automobile, the invention of the internet, the invention of electrification. I mean, think about that. We don't think of electricity as anything other than something that's everywhere. And AI and quantum computing is going to be everywhere.
So tell us more about your great mission and why are you guys teaming up, working together?
Well, very excited to be here in Davos and this year to have our own day of curation with Phygital Wednesday. So it was very special for me to bring some of my colleagues that have been instrumental in getting the content and the message together for Phygital Wednesday in such an important year. Phygital Connect for us, it's really about teaching our community, our industry, the companies we've invested in. Many of the companies you're going to hear from are companies that I've invested in and have tried to usher them into how to explain what they do. So we wanted to partner with people who can help with the education. And we realized that education comes in different forms. You have corporations that are going to invest a lot of money in educating their teams. We're trying to create a simple approach for the basic toolkit that you need to really understand spatial web. So I'm very, very excited because this partnership is going to have a lot of components. It's going to be multicultural, multilingual. We're very global, as you can see by our consortium. So expect content, activities in Europe, in the Americas, and South America. So North America has been a big focus for Phygicode, but Europe, the UK, and South America are coming next. So super excited for you guys to hear from Noel on Wednesday as well.
Hi, Jimani. Thank you so much for being here. What brings you to Davos 2024?
Hi, how are you? I'm here to speak at the Phygicode conference in the Web3 House here in Davos, and it's been a great experience so far.
Great. Can you share a couple of insights, especially you've been during the Milano Fashion Week recently, right? So what can you share with us?
I think one of the interesting conversations going into 2024, I think, is reignited enthusiasm around Web3. I think the movement we've seen in crypto prices over the last few months, the entry of Bitcoin into the ETF world, I think has been really positive for overall reception to the space, and it gets me really excited about things that are coming for next year, for this year actually.
Yeah, that's great. And what can you tell us about your work?
Yeah, so at 90cc, we're really looking to blend the physical and the digital experiences and build communities around that. So one of the things we've been focused on literally from the start has been, how do we create community? How do we link these great digital experiences to IRL experiences? And that's what we're excited to do this year.
Perfect. And what are the main challenges?
The main challenges, I would say, are probably user UI, UX, right? In terms of the ease of use, right? I think that's been one of the challenges for crypto for the last decade, is how do we make this as simple to use that my grandmother can do it? And that's been the real challenge. I think that's starting to get solved. Slowly, I think each and every month and each and every year, we start seeing that more and more, where it starts to happen. But I think as that gets solved, we're going to see more adoption. We're going to see more people onboarded into the space. And I think that exciting times are ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And last question. What are a couple of predictions for 2024?
2024, I think we're going to see a lot of brands that were probably interested and kind of messing around with the space a little bit are now going to start going more in depth into the space, and we're going to see some bigger initiatives from more established brands as they come to enter into the space.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We totally appreciate that, and we think that everything that you're doing is just incredible. Thank you so much for being at the Web3 Hub in Davos. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Hi, how are you today?
I am living my best life. I cannot complain. This is my first Davos, and really having a wonderful, wonderful experience.
All right, this sounds so exciting. What brings you here?
I am the Chief Brand Officer of 90cc. I am here with G Money. I can't give away the big secret, but I can tell you that we have something really amazing tonight. And we've been both speaking in front of the audience, and really our goal by coming always to these type of events is really to share the knowledge that we have as broadly as we can, so that way we can start seeing adoption not only with consumers and with the general public, but with the brands that are here and the decision makers and government officials that are here. We want Web3 not to be the scary thing that everybody has made it into, and really start explaining what we're using this technology for in a very relevant way. So that way, again, we can start seeing different points of adoption and different experimentation of what we're working on here.
Okay, perfect. And any other challenges that you can share with us?
I mean, the big challenge, honestly, is that we got this so wrong from the beginning. When this whole thing really started about Web3, it really was about selling JPEGs at prices that were just absurd. And it really created this environment where I think people really, saw it as like a scheme. And that's not really what we're using this technology for. And so a lot of what we're doing, especially with this education and knowledge sharing, is really trying to educate people on what we're going to do. This technology is really built to engage people, to build on that engagement and to reward that engagement. So almost incentivize that engagement. And so this technology, you're starting to see adopted by these much bigger brands, and they're using it as a tool to really create, and I talk about this all the time, we're going from like D2C, which was all like, hey, buy this, click the button, buy this, to hey, D to F, which is more be a fan and do things for us and get other people excited about us and rep us and buy the stuff that we make and then show it off on Instagram, and in exchange we'll give you access to better stuff and newer stuff, and we'll invite you to parties because you're the type of person that we want in our brand. And it's such a change in the way that is, and this technology really creates that connection. And we're able to also use this technology for so many other things, and we're just at the beginning point of really what that's going to be like. My hope is eventually with like the products that we're making at 9DCC, you'll walk in your house wearing a shirt, and maybe it'll make a temperature adjustment to say, oh, today Ken's in a tank top, so it should be a little bit cooler for him. Or hey, he's wearing a cashmere sweater, let's make an adjustment so he doesn't feel uncomfortable the whole time. And that type of integration really comes with a lot of levels of convenience. And I think that that's really what we're working on, is just making life better and easier for people and getting them a little bit better involved in the brands that they love. Because I think there's a lot of choices out there. And when you can really find something that you identify with and you connect with, I think just being loyal to that is a really amazing thing in this world. And so we're walking into a beautiful generation that has a whole different set of values. And so this technology is really going to be at the forefront of really creating those moments.
Hi, how are you today? What brings you to Davos?
Well, I normally come to Davos, but this year I wasn't going to come. And during lockdown, I wrote this book on the future of technology. And Bloomberg just listed it as the 5th most important book that you have to read this year, and the only one on AI. Because everything here is about AI. And I worry that we're missing everything else that's going on in technology. I came here to talk about it.
All right, perfect. So please tell us what is really special about your book, and especially about AI regulation.
So the first thing to realize is AI is just part of the picture. And if we just look at AI, we're going to not get the right conclusion. There are a bunch of technologies all becoming general purpose at once, which means anyone can use them, which means that suddenly we're going to be transforming a lot of what we do. Regulators are always reactive. They have to see what's going on and make decisions, or they have to forecast the future. Anything that they do impacts the future, and anything they do that is about the past is too late. So actually, regulation is not going to be very effective in this space. The other thing is people will move to regulatory environments where there is less regulation. So the EU Act, for instance, on AI is going to slow down innovation within the EU, and people will do it elsewhere. The citizens of the EU will have to start using these technologies eventually, because the productivity and creativity and ability of these products is so great that actually they will be then beholden to other people. For instance, like the internet, which has a very California feel, it doesn't have a European feel, and that's the way the foundations are built.
Is actually any potential case that we might lose our jobs, with AI improvement? Is that the case?
That's such a difficult question, and it's asked to a lot of people, and some people say yes, we're going to lose all our jobs. Some people say no. I think it's way too early to say. One of the things that we know is these technologies are or AI part of it is very good at processes, and most humans' jobs are process-oriented, especially the desk jobs are process-oriented. So it can eliminate that part of the job very quickly. Now the question is, can we do anything else? Well, the immediate answer is, well, in the Industrial Revolution, we moved from one to the other. But I don't think we can just look at history and assume that the future is going to be like history. If you do a financial advert for a financial service, it always says, history is no indication of the future. But in this, for some reason, we can be very confident, or people can be, that nothing's going to change. The question is, what do we become? Do we become creative? Do we have jobs that we haven't even thought of? Now, that may well happen, but I don't think we can count on that. These technologies already, their creative output is insane. Brainstorming with a group of people and brainstorming with these technologies comes out with pretty much the same responses already. And as these technologies are doubling or tripling or quadrupling in power every year, and we are not, at some point they will be more powerful than us. And so to say yes, no is just way too early. What we do have to do, which is the most important, is be ready for changes and not say, like Canute, the waves won't come in. He knew they would come in, but just because we order something doesn't mean it will happen. So I think we have to be incredibly flexible and consider all the opportunities.
What brings you to Davos?
Yeah, thanks a lot for asking me this super question. Davos is a place where I've been every year because Davos is about learning, innovation, and also networking, meeting people like you.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, that's so kind of you. Well, a very interesting question, because we were on the same panel about marketing, education, and we believe that education is everything, right? So one interesting question that I had is about raping cases in the metaverse. How can happen, basically?
Yeah, we had one case which was more or less at the beginning when Meta developed their space, and what happened there is we can maybe not imagine. Some people also asking me afterwards, when you have the headset on and when you are in VR, you actually feel it's you feel real. So your digital avatar becomes you, and that when you remember when you were a child and playing also with your puppets, you feel like, oh, this is mine. And it's much, much more when you do it in VR, because it's really like you. So what happened is that a young girl, in the case which was recently published, that a young girl was there, and there was a group of boys or guys, you can say, coming, and they were touching her and they were circling her. And if I do that now to you, if I already now circle you like this, and you do that in the virtual world, it actually feels real. It feels the same.
What excites you the most about Davos and about the Web3 Hub, 2024?
So the conversations were quite engaging on this front. And in general, the predictions for 2024 are very positive. So what we can expect is more innovation and really growth and a very positive outcome. In general, Davos has been very exciting. People are very engaged, and what we have seen is an increase in the number of participants. And we really experience more engagement. So in general, the balance for Davos 2024 is very positive.
It was my first Davos, so for me it was, beyond my expectations of what I was going to expect about the events. I got a little bit of taste of seeing what we were able to create, and then what also happens on the promenade. So it was really interesting to understand, so that next year we can, take that into consideration for all the event, if we actually happen to go next year. So for me, it was so interesting to have in one place, basically in like this tiny, street, everything that had to do with AI and technology and blockchain, and of course our favorite subject, Phygitality. And I think Andrea had a great vision, and I remember asking her, what is it that we're doing? And she's like, trust me, this is going to be the place where you want to be, the place where you're going to see, high-level conversations from CEOs really working on the space, what's happening with the clients, what are the use cases that they're seeing right now, what are the challenges also, and where can we move forward from that. And I feel that especially in one day we were able to put all of the aspects that are important, what is the phygital economy and what is all that about, how do we actually monetize from that, does that really mean something or it's just another gimmick? No, it's not a gimmick. How does the different industry like sports entertainment get to participate into that? How is the marketing and the education and the sustainability efforts are surrounding that? And then in between all of that, different deep thought conversations with specific leaders in the space that were able to tell us what they're seeing on their own umbrella, like 9DCC, Worldline, 3Dium, Open Wallet Foundation, some of these great companies that we were, super honored and grateful to have us part of the event. And in addition to that, some of the activations that we were able to show in a more visual way, to not only as a way to break the day, but also as a way to actually look, we are in a very visual space, and I think there's no better way to educate and to show you what we're doing if we don't show you. So the videos that were created with the Phygicode luminaries and some of the other partners and sponsors that are part of the Phygicode family was just like gravy on top of this whole day of Phygitality, because I think everybody that came there, even if they had no level of knowledge, medium level to high level, was able to get something out of it that day. I feel that was the most important part, and why we should really feel very proud about the event that we did.
We had the awards, so we wanted to give an example of a phygital brand that has really accomplished true Phygitality, the way we talk about Phygitality, using the technology for community. So we gave that award to 9DCC. We gave the Impact Organization Award to World of Women, and the Infrastructure Award for Phygitality to AWS, because obviously they are such a leader in the infrastructure you need to make that distribution of product happen, and the cloud services are just so extraordinary. You can't have all the things that we talked about in our Phygital Day without infrastructure partners that enable that. That said, we made another announcement during the event, which is a partnership with Over the Reality, and they they talked a lot during the day about the power of visual mapping and how augmented reality is going to usher in Phygitality for the masses. So one of the things we wanted to do is use Davos to showcase what they do, and to also talk about this 3D internet layer, this subscription to a new layer, in this case powered by Over the Reality. So our Phygicode SaaS first partnership is with them, and we're going to be announcing how our industry can participate in that layer for them to enable the publishing of products. And this is going to be a big focus of 2024, is how do we get everybody to learn to do this, so that it's not just for a small few.